educator you probably fear when you're leaving the classroom.
If you'd like to be on invite sent to be interviewed and play video games, please go to bubbagaddert.com and request to be on the show. And I'll let you know if the invite is sent.
Oh my god.
Trade.
Yeah. Come on in, big guy.
Come on.
You won't.
How do you heal and how do you live? What?
He threw a black hole at us like Thanos. You can't. That's not a button. I don't have that button.
I don't have that button either. All right. Welcome. Thank you for coming to the show. Hello. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being here on Spotlight today. I'm Bubba Gaddert, your host. Super pumped because we get to talk about really some of the amazing people in our industry who are working on outplacement and layoffs and other things that are happening in our industry right now in the video game and esports industry. And today we have a very amazing guest who actually has been instrumental in helping so many of our friends and our coworkers in the space find opportunities and find ways to get their foot in the door and be able to find new jobs potentially or find new careers and other things. But I'm super excited to bring on this amazing guest with me today, Madison Lillian. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I am super. I have been watching your expertise fly all over social media and LinkedIn, and you are very much appreciated. I hope you know that.
Thank you. I am just aggressively winging it, honestly.
Aggressively what? Sorry.
Aggressively winging it.
Nice. But your expertise though is employee engagement, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So help me understand what employee engagement and experiences like. When you're at an organization, what does that mean beyond like the HR person who most people think of as like, hey, let's do corporate wellness? What does that mean for you?
Yeah, to me, I would say that employee engagement and experience is really making your employees feel valued and appreciated at work, whether it is through like perks and benefits, which is typically an HR role, but it goes a little bit more granular to where actual team celebrations and really just going in and celebrating the studio and the team on all of their accomplishments. And making everybody feel valued and excited to come to work. I mean, I've always said that my job is literally making people love their job, and it's the best thing that I could have ever chosen to do.
I love that. What kind of now? I want to talk to you about a couple other things, but since we're on that subject, like, how did you get to this point to where this desire to help people with their experiences, did it come before where you're working recently? Where all have you found that fit for people or yourself? What other experiences have you had in the past?
Yeah, so previous to Epic, I was actually just in store management, and I was a store manager at a Verizon Wireless and also a Rue 21 clothing store, and I really loved being the general manager and empowering my employees. So when they came into work every day, I wanted to make sure that they had somebody to talk to, that it isn't very easy for a lot of people to just leave life at the door when they walk in. And so making sure that they have a moment before getting onto the floor to decompress and like really get your mindset right before walking out there and helping, because customer service can be extremely draining. And if you have things going on at home, I just wanted to make sure that all of my employees felt like they had a safe place at work before getting out onto the floor. So I've always just been very passionate about making sure that my employees feel good. And actually, one of the Verizons that I was a manager at, it was actually PCC Verizon or Moorhead. And they started something called the culture of good. And so their motto was employees matter, community matters, and our customers matter. And they would send us to Indiana for like a week at a time, and they would really hound in how important our employees were.
Yeah.
And that, you know, maybe as a manager, your instant thought when somebody walks in late for the first time this week, but they came in late every other day last week, your instant thought is, I'm going to write them up. Like, they can't be late. They have a job. They need to clock in. But they really got to the meat of it and finding out, like, why is your employee late? You know, what is going on at home? Are they having car trouble? What is, you know, finding the why. And I felt like the culture of good really helped inspire me into diving deeper into the employees' needs and figuring out like the why.
So Madison, this is 2021, 2020. Beyond that, I mean, were you working in a Verizon during COVID in 2020?
No, I was, so I worked at the Verizon for 6, maybe 7 years. I don't know, it was a while ago. And then I went to Route 21, and from there ended up moving from California to North Carolina, and that's when I was able to get my position on the former morale team, is what it was called.
Okay.
And my husband worked at Epic at the time, and he was like, Maddie, like, this is where you need to be. Like, this is your energy. This is what you care about. And they have an entire team for it, which just completely blew my mind. I didn't think that was even a possibility.
So before we go forward, let's go back a little more. Let's see. Are you a lifelong gamer?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody started out, in my generation specifically, we were kind of like that founding video game area, and I grew up with a million siblings, and that was the way that we were able to connect. And so whether it was like playing Mario, or one of my favorites was Spyro the Dragon, and Frogger, just like really simple games that we grew up on. But yeah, absolutely. I think that it's instrumental in the way that I created relationships with all of my siblings.
Well, awesome. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
So yeah, my screen shut off because there's a storm outside. So I'll just keep going. I'm gonna try and fix the beeping noise. But while we're doing this, why don't you give me a little bit of information about what you did at Epic, and I'm gonna put you on solo screen while I fix this.
Okay. So at Epic, I started out on the morale team, and it was later rebranded as the employee engagement and experience team. The initial and like project that I worked on was bringing lunch to employees at work. So somebody somewhere said, we want to provide free lunches for all of our employees that work on site as an on-site like perk. And so I had found and created the collaboration between us and the catering partner. And then from there, switched over to events while still handling the catering portion. So really just like forming that relationship and bringing this catering partner to each of our studios that were in the NA. Yep. And then it was maybe my second day at Epic when my boss was overloaded with events that she needed to do. She was the only person doing in-person events at the time. And I just said, let me handle that. Like, put it on my plate. I can take care of it. She had told me that she was working throughout the weekend and that she could not find a space for this team to get together. Yeah. And within the hour, I had their dinner reservation made, and I had also booked a trolley pub in Raleigh for that team. And so it was really just, I was excited about it, and I dove straight in and just continued to ask her for more and more to put on my plate when it came to events.
Wow.
And from there, I ended up becoming the events coordinator, and I did all of our in-person events. So yeah, it just kind of created my own position.
Oh, you have a cat as well. I thought you just had a dog. Okay.
No.
Great. Well, wait. So you have a cat and a dog, and are there other animals?
Yeah. So we have 2 dogs, 2 cats, 3 kids,
Oh.
and I just had my mom move in with us from California as well.
Yeah.
So it is a full house.
So you have, and you said you also have 3 kiddos?
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. I've got 3 kiddos myself. I'm guessing, I'm 41. I'm guessing you're a very young millennial.
I'm young. We do have a 13-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 6-year-old.
That's about us. We're 14, 12, and 8. Oh my. Okay. Well, way to go. Wild. That's do you have like a ranch for all these animals, or?
No, luckily our house is quite sufficient, so it can handle all of them.
Okay. Well, exciting. Well, I'm glad they're on the show. They can feel if a kid runs in the room too, totally cool. This is the world we live in. It's totally cool. Unless they're all at school. Mine are all at school.
Yeah, mine are at school.
Okay, those are the great times. So I wanna dive into with our remaining time here, about 15 minutes or so. I want to dive into what your kind of process was when you said, I'm no longer where I'm at in my company, and I want to help others. What was it? Was it just because of all the experience you had in employee experience and engagement, or was there like just somebody reached out to you and you had what was this catalyst that drove to you to what you've been doing these past few weeks and months?
Yeah, I would say definitely my years in employee engagement and experience really helped, although it was really just the layoff process in general. I think that I went on LinkedIn and I posted about being laid off, and then next thing I know, I'm seeing everybody else posting about being laid off, and it almost felt like we were like stranded in the middle of an ocean. And so I just wanted to like get everybody onto this life raft and just stay together. And I do think that community is the best way to find yourself out of any situation. So yeah, I just wanted everybody to like stick together and help each other, because everyone at Epic were such great people.
Yeah.
I built so many relationships like throughout my time there, and I didn't want that to go away. I wasn't ready to say goodbye. And so instead, myself and a few others started creating just ways to stay connected. And so, yeah, I think my position specifically is so, it's such a niche position where, you don't always see companies caring, or not caring, but really prioritizing employee engagement and experience. And so, but there are so many producer roles out there. There are so many engineer positions out there. And so I just figured the right thing will come to me in time. But in the meantime, I'm going to help those that I can. So, that's where I started setting up those calls and trying to get our employees in front of hiring managers.
So what I've noticed here, kind of looking at this timeline and help me fill some gaps, I've noticed documents that have been passed around that we'll look at in a minute. I've seen, maybe have you created a Discord or some sort of forum for you guys to all connect somewhere?
Yeah, I don't know who exactly created the Discord. I think it might have been Carl or Suni. But yes, there was a Discord created and a LinkedIn channel created within the days of the layoff. And I just have been dispersing that and trying to get the word out there That way people have a safe space to come and continue that Epic community.
And then you have also gathered people to meet with other organizations, right? Where you and others, I'm guessing, have collected your efforts and brought, I guess, publishers and other game organizations to people. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm a creature of habit, and so when the layoff happened, I took my kids to the bus stop in the morning, and then I went back to my home office and just sat there and was like, well, what do I do? And so I got on LinkedIn and I just started like reposting what I could or liking what I could, and then I started reaching out to recruiters within these larger organizations like Netflix Games, Amazon Games, and just said, hey, would you guys be willing to put on an outplacement event or a career fair with those that were laid off from Epic? And I have not had any pushback. I have only had support, and everyone that I've reached out to has been so willing to help the Epic community, and so it takes a little bit of time because they have to get approvals and so on, but it's been great. I mean, I just honestly sit at my computer until my kids get off from school and just continue networking as much as I can. So yeah.
Now so I want to look at some of these documents that you sent, but you're also trying to find the right fit for you. And from what I've been reading and you've been talking about is people appreciate what you're doing. So it sounds like you're getting noticed and like, hey, come do this amazing recruitment for our company. Wow, you're doing amazing on LinkedIn. But it seems like, hey, you want to find the right fit for you, your family, and for your career goals and your passions. So what is it you are looking for that next career, or maybe that next consultancy? It sounds like maybe for you to do something outside of just the 9 to 5.
Yeah, so I have had recruiters reach out saying we would love to have you on our team, and unfortunately that's just not for me. I have had people just really pushing it on me, saying like, hey, no, you can get commission for every person that gets hired. Like, this is a great spot to be in. And I'm sure it is for a lot of people, but that's just not where my passion is. Sure. And so I want to stay in employee engagement experience, specifically employee events. So I love working on inward-facing employee events. I did an event for about 2,500 people at Epic last summer, not this summer, the summer before. And then also our like holiday event or end of year celebration, and which was around 2,000 people. And those events really just get me excited. And I love seeing the employees coming down the escalator just like in shock with how beautiful the event is, and having a great time, a great place to unwind, relax, and get to talk to C-levels, and just like build that community and just really break down those barriers between levels or job descriptions, you know?
I'm an event nerd myself. I love events, so I feel like we have some commonalities here. I've put on like 5,000 person marathons for Garmin and 20,000 person sports events like for students all across the metro. I love events. I love the intimacy and the atmosphere, and it sounds like you're in that world as well. What is your role when you are doing, like, let's say for the 2,500 person event this last year, like what is your role in that? Are you turning the ship? Are you building, are you leading the teams? What is your kind of role in that?
Yeah, so with that event specifically, we had myself and another person that were really creating the event, sourcing the venue, so on. And then from there, we were able to bring on people from throughout the team and throughout our ERGs and different resources in order to build the event up. And so really just like vendor communication, sourcing food trucks or our food options, placement of everything, creating the maps, and so on. And so we would create a, not myself, but we would have somebody else on the team that would create like a digital map of the venue so that we could update and say, hey, this food truck or this restaurant is out of so-and-so. And that way people could also, if they had dietary restrictions, they could go on there and see exactly where to go to make things as easy as possible. And so, yeah, just start to finish, all of it. Yeah.
That is so appreciated as a vent nerd to another vent nerd. So appreciated. We probably have a lot of the same language. We could talk about this all day, which I'd be happy to. But I wanna see from your perspective, Madison. When, let's say you're in your next interview at some company, and you see the value of employee engagement experience, and you know what this company is capable of doing, maybe. So what would you say to a specific, or any company, about like, here's why I think employee engagement is important and why your company should be doing X? Or I give maybe an example. I know it's not great for this company because they're struggling with whatever. What's a kind of what's an elevator speech for you in the sense of, this is who I am, this is why I think employee engagement for your company would be great?
I don't know if I'm going to have the best answer for that. There's just so much. So, I mean, employee engagement, it really helps decrease turnover rate, and it also makes your employees feel heard. So I'm sure most companies have review cycles, right? And so somebody within HR or higher up the management, so on, they're reading these reviews and seeing employees saying things like, hey, I don't feel valued. I feel like just another employee. And employee engagement, although yes, everyone is replaceable in their role, they make you feel like you're not. And that is what's so extremely important to me. Like, I knew that I was replaceable at Epic, but I never ever felt that way. And so obviously until I was actually gone, but that's a joke. I'm sorry. But yeah, I think that it's important to make your employees feel valued. Creating that community within the organization is so important in keeping your employees.
So then I wanted to come up with a situation where I would say, hey, our employees really struggle with community. Our employees struggle, like if I'm interviewing you or something, right? And our employees struggling with community, they really don't feel as if they're appreciated, and the life work balance is a struggle. We just can't get culture to change. How would you go in and say, what would you say about culture? What are your thoughts on culture around a company?
Yeah, I think that culture is the most important thing. I mean, I personally value a good work culture over a great paycheck. I know that not everybody feels that way, but personally, that is how I feel. And you want to create a culture of belonging. You want to create a culture of community and just a safe feeling. I personally love the gaming industry because it is so lighthearted. I mean, I have heard people say over and over again, like, hey, at the end of the day, we just make video games. Like, calm down. And so it's just like this lighthearted, fun culture. And I mean, just really, I know that work-life balance can be difficult for a lot of people. And so really just pushing, instead of work-life balance where you have work and you have life, really focusing on the work-life integration is key, because in today's, industry, we have to be able to be flexible. So if I want to take the afternoon off to go to my son's school and help them paint pumpkins, like I should be able to do that as long as I'm doing my best. Like you're getting your job done, you're having fun while being the best. That's so important. So
love that.
If I leave to go help them paint, I should be able to come back with ease, knowing, hey, I'm still getting my job done. I'm still putting my hours in, and I'll just make it up a little bit later. So that's where that work-life integration comes in instead of the work-life balance, because there isn't a real work-life balance. I mean, you can't put 100% into work and 100% into life, right? It's impossible. You only have 100%. So instead, just being fluid and flexible where you can, I think is extremely important in creating that environment where you're allowed to do that. So having management say, hey, I know that we had this huge launch this weekend and you had to work overtime. Please take Monday and Tuesday off with your family.
Yeah.
You know, we need to endorse our employees to take the time that they need, because a lot of times, especially in engineering and game development, people are working after 6 o'clock. People are working on the weekends. And so where are we as a company coming in to say work-life balance? You know, take the day off, go to your son's baseball tournament, come back tomorrow, you know?
That's great. Well, there's a lot of, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say there's a lot of t-shirts worthy of being printed from a lot of things you said there, by the way. A lot of you may have to go back and watch through some of the great phrases you just mentioned from the first part of that to the end. And it's funny because there's a lot of comments on this chat right now, like really excited and appreciative of you. Kyle says you're like the Twitch version of Simon Sinek. I don't know if you know Simon, if you're a fan of him. Not everybody's a fan of him, but you know, a motivational understanding of their passion. So it's very much appreciated. So thanks, Kyle, for that. I do want to jump in here with our last minute at a time. This document that you have posted out here in the world. I was going to zoom in, but it's not working because my monitor's not working. But oh well. We can see this.
So
go ahead.
This
Talk
is
me
a
through this.
fantastic document. I did not create it. I have simply been sharing it and trying to get people to input their information. And so on that first tab, you can see all of those people that have been impacted by the layoff.
Okay.
And so it does not encompass everybody. We still need to share it and get up to 900 plus people on there. But last time I checked, I think we had around 250, and employers are using this sheet to source their new employees. So I have heard on multiple occasions of these companies looking at this sheet, trying to find somebody with the expertise that they need to fill a role. I've had people reach out to me directly saying, hey, do you know anyone that could fit this role? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. Have you looked at the sheet yet? Like, check out the sheet, but also I will refer somebody directly. I've been doing that over and over again. So please, if you were a part of the layoff and if I have a mutual connection with somebody, I have no problem making that connection through the messenger and getting the conversation started. But yes, please, please, please input your information on the sheet. On the second tab, you'll see the recruiters. And so from there, if you just toggle over there.
There we go.
No, sorry. So here you can see people from every industry coming through and saying, hey, this is Nintendo and we're looking for engineers. This is Xbox and we're looking for so-and-so. And so this is a fantastic tool to use, whether you are searching for a job or you need someone to fill a position within your organization. It's amazing.
Wow. Rockstar Games. Okay. All this fun stuff. Okay. And there's some other tabs here.
So that's
Slack
just
group.
the
Okay. That's
Slack
awesome.
group. And I believe anyone can join that Slack group. It is public. We have private Slack channels, and we also have private Discord channels. So again, if you were impacted, please reach out, and I'm happy to get you referred into those.
Wow. Well, this is really, really, really helpful. And we were talking earlier about some other kind of outplacement type documents, those who are looking in the industry. And I know the one that I added myself to for, I think it's the two labels are, and then somebody's already reached out to me on LinkedIn, like a review for a resume and mentoring. And so like I'm excited to have myself on that, and I already have a lot of people reaching out. And I love looking at LinkedIn profiles and saying, you know what, you could let's work on a graphic for here, or let's add how you pronounce your name, or what about your let's get some Chat GPT help on your description for who you are and pull some stuff out. I mean, where have you been in that kind of mode with anybody, or is it more just been connecting people with stuff, or is it all over?
Yeah, I've definitely been more so in the connecting piece. I don't feel like I would be the best mentor, just because like I'm still searching for a job myself. So
Sure.
how can I tell somebody else how to find one? But I did set up a call with Xbox Games, and they had this initial call was an outplacement support call where she was able to ask answer questions about people's LinkedIn's and their resumes, and really just give advice from someone that's been in the industry for so many years. And so she gave such great advice on, the top of your LinkedIn profile is the most important piece. Like you need to put the most important information at the top and say like, hey, ex-Epic or former Epic, wherever you're from, needs to be at that header. And so just very simple things like that we as people that were not expecting to leave their company, it's important for us to know. I mean, I was not really prominent on LinkedIn prior to this. I mean, I would post, short blog, basically posts about like how I felt employee engagement was, or asking people how their week was, so on. But a lot of people didn't even have a picture up on their LinkedIn because we weren't expecting it. We wanted to retire with the company, or at least I did. And so I wasn't feeling like I needed to start networking. And so updating LinkedIn and updating your resume, she was really helpful in that. And that was Fiona over at Xbox. So amazing.
Wow. Well, Madison, this has been fun. I've kept you a little longer. I want to give you the spotlight for you. You got 60 seconds to say whatever you want to say. Tell people whatever you need to tell them, and promote yourself. But the floor is all yours.
Okay. I feel like hot ones when you have the last guest.
Yep.
And so anyway, follow me on LinkedIn. I am posting quite frequently about different job opportunities and connecting people with larger gaming studios. I have some really great information coming out this week. I cannot say it just yet. I wish I had the green light to say it here. But I will say is that there are a lot of layoffs going on right now, and it's not just at Epic. And so this next call that I'm putting on is for more than just Epic layoffs. So if you were impacted by a layoff within the gaming industry, please follow, and I should be posting by the end of the week information about it, but anyone is welcome to join this call. Although I do want to help my fellow colleagues, there are so many more people that have been impacted than just the Epic Games. And so, please keep your eye out. I will be posting soon and excited to share that news with you guys.
Madison, it is a pleasure and an honor to sit down with you. And I love that you said hot ones. That's my other show called, my other show, Invite Sent, will have an episode next Friday, is based off hot ones. I play video games with people and ask them hard questions. So
oh my God.
The video game is the hot wing, basically. And it's very difficult to play a lot of games and answer really tough questions about your career or your family or your history. So yes,
I can't even answer a simple question when I'm playing Fortnite. Like, my son will come up and be like, "Well, can I have this snack?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know what you're saying. Yes." So I'm sure it'll be great.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. Please feel free to stick around. I'm gonna shut down the show, and for a minute or two, you can stick around the control panel room, and I'll come say goodbye. But thank you again so much for stopping by today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, everyone. Thank you again for coming today. If you want to be on Spotlight or any of the shows we've got with Good Morning Gamers or Invite Sent, and we have another show, the Rave Esports Show with Bubba Gaddert, coming up in November for 6 months, a sponsored show. Happy to have you. Please just reach out, LinkedIn, Twitter, anywhere. We appreciate you guys. Hey, if you're out there, you need support, we just gave you a bunch, and I want you to look at it. So feel free to rewatch and check out the links on Madison's page. Take it easy. See you guys later. Bye.
Hello, my name is Christy Kester. As a public educator for the past 24 years, I have watched as interest in esports has exploded in schools across the world. Last fall, I joined the High School Esports League and helped to establish the education department. Since then, we have been working hard to integrate esports into education to create a scholastic gaming experience where students can learn, play, and compete. With our evidence-based, STEM.org-approved gaming concepts curriculum, schools can offer 4-credit classes during the school day that help improve chronic absenteeism, student engagement, and mental health.
As a senior health advisor for High School Esports League and a former ER physician, I see the incredible need for supporting mental health in students in today's schools. In fact, schools at a formidable crossroads where a pervasive and persistent decline in youth mental health now intersects with staff burnout. This has not been a sudden problem, but rather one we've seen over decades. The American Academy of Pediatrics announced in 2019 that 1 out of 3 students meets the criteria for generalized anxiety disorder before graduation. And the CDC reaffirmed that between 2009 and 2019, depression increased in adolescents by roughly 40%. The most telltale sign that grabbed all of our hearts was when the Surgeon General announced in December of 2021 that female adolescents increased their visits to the emergency departments around the nation by 51% for suicidal ideations. In the face of this, schools are desperately seeking solutions and ways to support those that struggle with mental health challenges. Now, these statistics that I mentioned are averages. We know there are some cohorts that are at higher risk, particularly those students who do not feel they have a safe place or a legitimate connection to school. That's where esports represents a tremendous opportunity. Students who are not currently involved with sports, music, arts, and traditional extracurriculars are left with minimal opportunities to make a connection. Yet many of these students find connections to their friends and other social outlets through online activity, including gaming. So, Scholastic Gaming represents an opportunity to leverage an area of interest into a legitimate class that meets state standards and expectations, all through an evidence-based curriculum that can simultaneously support self-esteem, self-efficacy, and life skills in many kids who desperately need it.
Hi, my name is Michael Russell. During my career as a teacher, I was fortunate enough to have the support of my administrator as I began the journey to establish the first 4-credit Scholastic Gaming course in the nation. At HSEL, we have the resources and data to help you speak with your administrators about the impact that Scholastic Gaming and esports can have for your students. We have strategies that can help you with acquiring technology and curriculum, such as ESSER funds, grant applications, and partnerships. The High School Esports League has invested significant resources in helping our education partners, and we are excited about this opportunity to help you establish Scholastic Gaming in your school.